The vice chairman of Catholic Charities USA says his organization is racist, and so is the Catholic Church. Pope Francis was going to canonize her, but now that the state of California has kicked Queen Isabella of Spain out of their capital, will he even defend her? Plus, defunding the police turns Minneapolis into a war zone. All that and more tonight from the editor's desk.
Environmental activists are saying that the improperly discarded masks are adding to the pollution on the island and are threatening its fragile ecosystem.
You just can't make it up. COVID-19 masks are causing climate change.
I think it's all right. Whatever.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Madd coming to you once again from the offices of the Remnant newspaper, just 35 miles now outside of Murderapolis, where last night another 9 people were shot. I think it was something like 6 shootings in 6 hours or some crazy thing.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Are you going to go there anytime soon?
Oh, no, I'm going to stay out of Murderapolis. I think everybody is, How is that defund the police thing working out so far?
Spotter technology has picked up more than 1,600 gunshots in Minneapolis in the past 30 days. The yellow and orange dots show where it recorded gunfire. Just this afternoon, 8 people were shot over a span of 90 minutes in 2 separate shootings in North Minneapolis.
And they're still over there saying that police brutality is the problem.
Yes, looks like it.
It looks like it, doesn't it? The cops have been pulled out. They don't know what to do. They're not even necessarily responding. You have just chaos in there. And the cops aren't killing anybody. So when are we going to look at the problem here?
They're also not getting there fast enough when somebody's bleeding out
right.
in the street.
Yeah, nobody's happy with what's going on. And if we get Joe Biden elected into the highest office of the land, this is what every city in America is going to look like real quick. So I guess the liberals now running our city really don't care that much about Black Lives Matter.
Lisa Bender, the president of the city council, should step down immediately.
It's absolutely irresponsible, the things that she's calling for. And again, to abolish the police department, to dismantle them, irreparably harms the black and brown people.
It's just unbelievable. In other news, June 26 was United Nations Charter Day. Did you know that?
Oh, no, that sounds fun.
Isn't that fun? Yeah. Our friends over at the UN celebrated this momentous occasion by discussing how the COVID pandemic can be used to bring on that cool new global government of theirs.
Happy birthday to us. As you heard, today is Charter Day. This morning, the Secretary General did take part in that virtual General Assembly commemoration you all talked about. The Secretary General said today, as we live in a world mired in pandemic, torn by discrimination, endangered by climate change, and scarred by poverty, inequality, and war, we need to reimagine multilateralism, give it teeth to function as the founders intended, and ensure that effective global governance is a reality.
This video, by the way, by a spokesperson of the Secretary General of the United Nations, it's garnered a whopping 573 views on the UN's official YouTube channel since June 26. In other words, nobody cares. But they don't care. They're just going to keep right on going. They're going to keep right on ramrodding their 2030 agenda through anyway. Especially now, since we're all distracted by scary COVID stories and another race war. Can you believe this? 50 years after Martin Luther King. 50 years. We voted a black president in twice. Many of our cities are run by all black, personnel at this point. And still, America is more racist now than ever, they keep telling us. Who's buying this nonsense?
Hey everyone, if you follow Michael Matt and the Remnant on Facebook, you might have noticed that one of our posts was removed recently by the Facebook censors. If you want to keep in contact with us and not have to rely on social media, Facebook, Twitter, things like that, even YouTube, please consider coming to the Remnant website and clicking that bell icon and signing up for our e-blasts. That way, no matter what happens, if we get kicked off of all the social media platforms, we can still contact you and you can hear from us and stay in the fight and we can be in this together. The Remnant's also trying to build its own Remnant TV platform on the Remnant website right here. So if you'd like to help us out with that, please consider leaving a donation. The link is in the description box below. And if you're enjoying this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, let's get back to it.
And by the way, how did this happen? Remember Michael Jordan? You guys are too young for Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan is one of the greatest basketball players of all time, right? You remember Michael Jordan? Of course. All right, I never know. I'm getting old, Michael Jordan didn't seem to think so, that America was so terrible. It was just a couple of years ago that the basketball legend said, quote, "We are privileged to live in the world's greatest country, a country that has provided my family and me the greatest of opportunities." That's just a few years ago. It was 2016, 2017 he said that. Now Colin, what's his name? Capper something or other with the huge hair. I mean, he's out there telling us that even the 4th of July is a celebration of white supremacy, and nobody cares. The Walt Disney Company hires this clown to work for them, to do a show for them. Netflix has got him all signed up for a show so that he can lecture us all and tell all of our kids how terrible this country is. What happened? How did we go from Michael Jordan in the sports world to Colin, what's his name, in the sports world? Some hack who didn't even know how to play football. Now he's made millions of dollars. His white mother, instead of aborting him, put him up for adoption. Too white mom, white dad took him on. He goes to work for the NFL. He makes millions of dollars, and now he's lecturing us about white supremacy.
Got a lot of privilege.
A little bit of privilege of his own, exactly. So what happened? Why are we suddenly now being sort of pushed back into the 19th century? I don't get it. Lots of bad things happened to lots of people in the past, in this country and in every other country in the world for that matter. I mean, I'm a Catholic, right? I love my country. But my government was founded by deists and Freemasons who really didn't have any time whatsoever for my popish religion. The Catholic historian, Monsignor John Tracy Ellis, he writes that, quote, "A universal anti-Catholic bias was brought to Jamestown in 1607 and vigorously cultivated in all the 13 colonies from Massachusetts to Georgia." You see, there was no Catholic president allowed in the United States of America until 1960. The bias was so bad, was so systemic. And it was right from the start. Take a guy like Ben Franklin, for example. This guy was a Freemason. He's a Freemason who helped his brother Masons over in Paris, in France, incite the mob, which, as we pointed out last time, was breaking up statues and eventually started taking heads off of people. He helped them incite the mob to slaughter Catholic priests, to slaughter Catholic nuns, and nearly 1 million Catholics down in the Vendée in western France. Anti-Catholicism was alive and well in colonial America, and man, did it kick into high gear with the arrival of waves of Irish and German Catholics in the 1840s. You ever hear of the Know-Nothings? How about Bloody Monday? The Know-Nothings, these guys were unbelievable. And this was a political party. They tarred and feathered Catholic priests on occasion, burned their churches to the ground up in Maine, and made life pretty much miserable for Catholics everywhere in this country. Why? Because they were Catholic, because they were Irish, because they were German. There was an incredible bias against Catholics. Catholics suffered in this country. They even make movies now and then about vicious anti-Catholicism in America.
Is this it, priest? The Pope's new army? A few crusty b****s and a handful of ragtags?
So the point is, friends, Catholics are one of the groups, Catholic Americans, had to overcome significant prejudice, as did, of course, black Americans, after the abomination of chattel slavery was finally abolished. Where? Right here in America. America did more to end chattel slavery than any other country through the Civil War that tore our country in half and cost us something like 600,000 American lives to move past the evil of slavery. You see? But see, now we're living in 2020. And America is now one of the least racist nations in the world. Am I exaggerating?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Least racist nations in the world. Her borders are open to people of every skin color, every religion, every nation. I mean, Catholics, traditional Catholics, are stronger in this country than in formerly Catholic Europe right now. America has been very good for the traditional Catholic movement. We've overcome the bias and the prejudices and the hatred, and we've moved on. And we celebrate the 4th of July as the birthday of our country. So why, friends? Why is America being goaded back now into race wars and religious intolerance? Why is this happening? It's because they're destabilizing this country on purpose. And because racism has gotten so much better in this country, as Michael Jordan was pointing out a couple of years ago, we've provided incredible opportunities for minorities, right? It was getting better, and they were worried that it was going to go away on the left because they've been exploiting it since the beginning. They're exploiting it right now in Minneapolis. Just ask a lot of my black neighbors who are over there scared to death right now because the city is a war zone. thanks to these race mongers in the Democrat Party who are trashing Minneapolis right now. And this is crossing all lines. The new and improved Catholic Church now, holy cow. The know-nothings had nothing on these guys. The know-nothings of the 19th century had nothing on this guy particularly. Rob McCann, Vice Chair of Catholic Charities USA, who says that the entire Catholic Church is racist.
My Catholic Church and my Catholic Charities organization is racist. How could they not be? Our Catholic faith tradition was built on the premise that a baby born in a manger in the Middle East was a white baby.
Jesus was a white baby? Can you believe this clown?
Yeah, it's embarrassing for him.
Seriously, Rob? I mean, you're a picture guy, right? Have you ever seen any pictures of Our Lady of China and her son? How about Our Lady of Guadalupe? Does she look white to you, Rob? How about Our Lady, Mother of Africa? You know what, Rob? Stop projecting your ignorant racism on the rest of us. Because who other than a rank racist is freaking out over what color Jesus was?
I am a racist. That's the hard truth. I am a racist. How could I not be?
You virtue-signaling ignoramus. The Catholic Church condemns racial hatred and always has. Condemns it as a sin, a mortal sin against the fifth commandment. The Catholic Church teaches that we are all created in the image and likeness of God, Rob. Maybe you should do a little reading up on what the heck you're talking about before you go on and just air this ignorant, racist hate of yours, trying so hard to appease the far left. No wonder nobody's donating to your stupid organization anymore. You should do a little reading on what the Catholic Church actually did for the indigenous peoples all over the world. This is a very frightening and dangerous moment for our country, and you're out there throwing fuel on the fire. You should be using your authority and your position to try to help people, to try to bring people together. Maybe you should look into, for example, the modern hospital system and how that came into being. Rob, it might be fun for you. The Roman Catholic Church is to this day the largest non-government provider of healthcare services in the world, pal. In the Middle Ages, Rob, the church, the Catholic Church, invented hospitals for the old and the orphanages for the young and hospices for the sick of all ages, free. Places for lepers. The Catholic Church did it all. Soup kitchens down through our own time. Monasteries in the Middle Ages were the first hospitals, Rob. And monastic schools of medicine were set up by Charlemagne. You ever heard of him? A long time ago, to be associated with monasteries such as Cluny. Maybe you've seen pictures. Catholic hospitals were established here in America prior to the Revolutionary War. Charity Hospital, for example, in New Orleans. It was established in 1727. The Sisters of St. Francis of Syracuse, New York, opened and operated some of the first general hospitals in the United States, and they set up the standard of cleanliness and hygiene and everything else for the entire hospital system in our country today from the Catholic Church. But according to Rob, over at Catholic Charities, the Catholic Church is nothing but a first-rate racist organization. Never mind that half of the cities in Canada, in the United States, in Mexico, and South America, half of them were missions established by Catholic priests and nuns, many of whom gave their lives, Rob, for the indigenous peoples.
Send us virtuous women, was what the founders of New Orleans kept writing back to Mother France. The men keep deserting their posts to dally with the natives. So the King of France sent the Ursuline nuns, who may not have been exactly what the men had in mind. But these nuns, seen arriving in New Orleans in 1727, paved the way for the marriageable women, the casket girls and their descendants, who would turn New Orleans from a temporary outpost to a permanent settlement.
The Ursuline nuns were the principal players in the history of the city from its beginning. They were the ones who, since 1727, have been educating the women of this community. And as I say, for the first 100 years, they were practically the only source of learning and culture in the city.
Oh, yeah, but the Catholic Church was just so into slavery. So says Rob from Catholic Charities.
The Catholic Church in the United States has its own long, terrible history of owning slaves, staying silent about others who did the same, running Indian schools, and being part of the institutionalization of racism.
30 years before the Civil War, popes such as Gregory XVI were condemning the enslavement of blacks and Indians by name. He writes, Pope Gregory writes, quote, "Walking in the footsteps of our predecessors, we, the apostolic authority, warn and strongly exhort faithful Christians of every condition that no one in the future dare to despoil of their possessions or reduce to slavery Indians, blacks, or other such peoples," end quote. The papacy of the Catholic Church did more to end slavery than any political entity in history, especially here in the Americas. Pope Leo XIII, for example, in 1888, in his document called In Plurimis, ordered the Brazilian bishops to do all that they possibly could to banish the last remnants of slavery from South America. He writes, quote, "The supreme author of all things so decreed that man should exercise a sort of royal dominion over beasts and cattle and fish and fowl, but never over their fellow men." Pope Leo XIII, 1888. There has never been a less racist organization in the history of the world than the Catholic Church, with persons of every skin color, every rank, social class represented and served by the Church for 2,000 years. Africans, Native Americans, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, you name it, all numbered among her saints, numbered among her cardinals, her bishops, priests, and nuns. And then you got Rob at Catholic Charities.
My Catholic Church and my Catholic Charities organization is racist.
If you still need an excuse, friends, to never give another penny to this sick organization, Catholic Charities, this is it. And no wonder Bishop Thomas Daly, by the way, of Spokane, issued a statement on July 5th of this year, of course, just a couple days ago, announcing that, quote, "The annual Catholic Charities Christmas collection will either be replaced or be taken in conjunction with the Black and Indians Mission Collection." Thank God for Bishop Daly. He tried to reason with Rob. It didn't seem to work too well. Bishop Daly also notes that Rob McCann's support of Black Lives Matter, the bishop says, "This puzzles me because Black Lives Matter, the organization, is in conflict with church teaching regarding marriage, family, and the sanctity of life." Did you see the statement? We should put it up on the screen. It's fantastic. Yeah. And of course, he makes the distinction. He says, he supports black lives, the protection and safeguarding of black lives, but he says you don't have to support this communist organization, Black Lives Matter, in order to show your support. So good for him. God bless you, Your Excellency. Thank you so much. Obviously, the Bishop of Spokane has had enough of Catholic bashers like Rob, and so have the rest of us.
My Catholic Church and my Catholic Charities organization is racist.
Obviously, friends, this is serious. I mean, the Catholic Church has been infiltrated by people who quite obviously hate her traditions, hate her liturgy, hate her history. Rob, Catholic Charities comes out and the Catholic Church is racist. Why would you do that unless you wanted people to turn on your church? So it's no wonder that out in California, for example, they're tearing down the monarchy again, only now in stone effigy.
Under the cover of darkness, construction crews began dismantling the statue of Christopher Columbus and Queen Isabella early this morning. The controversial symbols, made of granite and marble, were hoisted by crane and then removed from the Capitol Rotunda that had been their home since 1883.
It's unbelievable. It's like they're bringing a curse upon themselves out there. And you wonder, is Pope Francis? Where is Pope Francis? Where is this man? What is he doing? I haven't heard anything from him in a long time. He's still working on his thing with the United Nations, his global government, global education pact, and all that, I guess. But where is he? 3 months ago, to his credit, Pope Francis indicated that he wanted to actually canonize Queen Isabella of Spain. It was a good thing that he did. It was a bright spot in his pontificate so far. In April of 2020, Cardinal Oliveira, the Archbishop of Valencia, told the Spanish press that, quote, "The Pope asked us to take up again the cause of Isabella the Catholic during the last assembly of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America," end quote. Good for Francis. But now, Francis, are you going to defend her? Pope Francis canonized Father Junipero Serra, too. For heaven's sake, here's what's happening to that saint. So here's the question. Does Pope Francis still support Black Lives Matter? Because he made it pretty clear early on that he does support Black Lives Matter. Does he still support Black Lives Matter even after they tore down a statue of the saint that Francis just canonized? You got anything to say, Francis? What's going on over there? Is your mask on your face a little too tight or something? Can you speak? Can you do something? The Catholic Church is being torn apart in this country, Your Holiness. We could use a little assistance here. Friends, I'm sorry, but this is madness. Where's the church? Where are the Pope? Where are the bishops? A couple of exceptions like Bishop Daley, but for the most part, silence? Do they really want Donald Trump to lose this badly? And they're going to let the left just trash this entire country and trash the Catholic Church just so that Trump loses? It's to the point now, friends, where faithful Catholics, if we don't stand up for our church, nobody else will, obviously. The Church of Accompaniment is gone. The Church of Accompaniment has abandoned us all. And we have to take steps on our own, friends. And we're going to do just that. I would ask you, please, hopefully those of you who visit our website on a regular basis notice that we have set up this League of the Sacred Heart, and I'm inviting you, I'm hoping and I'm praying that millions will join the League of the Sacred Heart. Since the Vatican is silent and the bishops are silent, let's take this into our own hands. So for starters, Catholics worldwide now are going to be praying the rosary from now through November 3rd, obviously, for the re-election of Donald Trump. We have a very beautiful prayer that was written by Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano. It's at our website. Please check it out or look at the link down below. Because the thing is, friends, we got to do something here, and we got to do something fast. Because this is war. And if Trump wins, the war isn't going to be over, don't get me wrong. But if he loses, God help us all. And if he wins, every pro-life, pro-family, pro-God American is going to have at least 4 more years to at least try to turn this country back to God. And for that matter, back to sanity. We need to make this happen. So again, click the link right down here below and join us. Let's get started on this, because we don't have a lot of time, I'm afraid, and we need to show solidarity. We need to unite the clans. We need to defend our country, and we need to make our Catholic Church Catholic once again. So please consider doing that. God bless you all. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Michael Matt for Remnant TV, and we'll see you next time.